What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd Report, and welcome everybody coming in from Popcorn Planet. We were there with Steph the Alter Nerd. We went through some crazy stuff there. If you're coming from Popcorn Planet, please hit that one button in the comments right away, right now, as we're going to get into a few topics. Gypsy Rose, Blanchard is our main topic, but if you want to talk about the island or whatever, you could do so as well. It's a little bit of a give and take. And my name's Lewis, and holy cow, my bathroom's door is open. Yuck. I should have had it closed. Was it open all through the Popcorn Planet stream? How embarrassing. You could see that's where I take a shower, ladies. That's embarrassing. That's where I take a shower. And everyone could see it. Shame on you people not telling me that was open. Now I'm really, really embarrassed. And guess what? I want hearts up in the air, because guess what? Steph and I had over 70,000 viewers on that stream. So thank you. Thank you so much, folks. That's a huge, huge, massive accomplishment. And we couldn't do it without you all. And it just felt good. Great way to start the year. And we're going to talk about it more right after this. Let's go. And I'm back, folks. Thank you very much. Once again, if you're new to the channel, press that one button. Also, let us know where you're watching from. And if it's your first time here, keep in mind, what is Nerd Report? Okay, Nerd Report, we talk about things nerds like to talk about, but it doesn't necessarily have to be about tech or movies and stuff. We talk about current events. You know, we're regular people with regular opinions and different opinions. And I think what makes us powerful and strong and really, really supported by this amazing community is that the community makes up this channel. We give you a voice. As long as you're respectful, everyone's voice is welcome here. We meet people here. We include them in the community. We if you want to be part of the channel, you could step up. And I'll give you an example, because I've met people here, and we got two guests, Brandon and Bernadette, who are backstage, and they're going to be talking with me. They're going to be reacting to Gypsy Rose. You guys know who she is. We're going to talk a little bit about her, and we're going to talk about different things. Welcome, Brandon and Bernadette, to the channel.
Hello. Hey, can you hear us good?
Yeah, as you're telling people, as you're introducing yourselves and stuff like that, I'm going to put on my icon, and first of all, I'm going to put Gypsy Rose's Instagram, because she's at 6 million followers right now in 2 weeks. And then we're going to talk about if she deserves it, if this is bad. But before, you guys, let us know how your day is going, Bernadette and Brandon. I'm going to close the bathroom door, because I know there's a lot of perverts looking at, is that where he takes a shower?
I'm trying to get a look at Lewis, huh? Hey, you're trying to sneak a look.
What's he doing?
Our day's been pretty good over here. We had some good Mexican food while we were Tex-Mex while we were watching some of the stream from Steph and Lewis earlier. That was amazing. Y'all did great. And then over here, Bernadette, she knows more about this topic than I do. She's been informing me.
Yeah.
And she was really excited not excited, but she felt strongly that she should have been let out, right? That's what you were saying.
Well, let's because the thing is, a lot of people don't know about the situation. So let's say that. Yeah, let's give you all a brief synopsis, and if you guys want to add anything. So Gypsy Rose here, she's from an abusive mother. Her mother was tricking her into thinking she had a disease, that she was always sick. She was given medical treatment, malpractice. Doctors were actually doing operation or procedures on her and stuff. And no one really caught on to it, that this was all fake. She could walk. she wasn't sick, right? Her mom was physically abusing her, poisoning her to a certain extent, and actually making up diseases and monetizing her life. And I think this all, in my opinion, started off as a way of controlling her, because her mom had a divorce with her, obviously the dad. And I think since he left, he didn't want the daughter to leave, right? I want to thank Joanna real quick for Happy New Year to Louis. Thank you very much. And also D Nice for that very generous super chat earlier I didn't get. Thank you guys. Hearts for you. But as far as Gypsy Rose is concerned, like, there was, it's a sad story. What eventually happened, and there's more to this, and you can watch our video on Popcorn Planet that I did with Andy Signor, is that she conspired with her boyfriend to end the mom. The boyfriend ended the mom at the time. He's serving life in prison, and she got off after 8 years. Now, that's a little weird because it sucks. So guys out there, don't get too involved, man, with like these things. Because look, you're in jail, dude. Okay. And in a way, it's a effed up situation because, yes, this woman, Gypsy Rose, was being kept prisoner. She was being poisoned. She was in danger of being dying, and stuff. And it's kind of like a self-defense, right? What she did. But Gypsy Rose is free. And this guy right here that you see on the IG is not the guy that ended the mom. That guy's in jail.
No, that's her husband. What is it, Ryan, I believe?
Yeah, but check it out. While her boyfriend is spending the time in jail, she's banging this dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, folks, guys especially, keep your level of simping on check. All right? The simp does not get the girl, dude, especially with this. So, long story short, I know it's too late for that. Girl is abused all her life. She retaliates in the wrong way, or probably the only way she knew how. Spends time in prison, comes out of prison, and is now an internet sensation. Bernadette, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so first of all, I've been following this for a very long time. I really have. I've always been interested in it. I've seen all the interviews, documentaries, series about it, everything. But I do feel a certain way bad. Should she have done that to her mom? No, there could have been a different way she could have went about that, but it happened. But then again, it's kind of like, she had it. Her mom was so manipulative. It was all about the money, because they had so much money given to them. They had a house built from them. They got trips to Disney, everything. It was just like, that was all the mom cared for. She didn't care about her daughter at all. And then when Gypsy actually found out, I can walk, and a lot of people don't know that her teeth, it had a lot to do with her medications that her mom would give her.
Her mom was actually giving her poison that would make her teeth
fall out.
Like, they looked like her bones were probably
brittle.
Brittle. Yeah.
Yeah, but not only that, her mom told her she could never eat like sugar or anything. So she started eating nothing but sugar. And that didn't help her teeth as well, with everything going on, at the same time. So, but yeah, it's just kind of like, and then the tube, she had to eat through a tube in her stomach. She couldn't have solid food. It was like this shake kind of stuff her mom used to inject in her.
By the way, I'm not interrupting you. I know a lot of people came from Popcorn Planet and are waiting for a list, Jeffrey Epstein list. It is not out. If it is, when it comes out and we're on, we will be talking about it. But meanwhile, we're not.
People going crazy for that, huh?
Well, people, I think a little bit are obsessed with, they want to see celebrities on there or like people that are very well known. And like I've said before, a lot of people that are controlling the world are yeah, exactly. Kim says the list is not out. The people that are controlling the world, their names are not popular. Mm-hmm. Remember, popular people like actors, they work.
Yeah.
Real rich people don't want to, don't want to work. So anyways, you were saying, Bernadette, you totally disagree with the way this manner was handled with the mom?
Mm-hmm, I do. I mean, like I said, she could have reported her. She could have, a doctor did actually was kind of questioning it about her, Gypsy, like what's with all these medications? What, the mom was acting weird.
There was one doctor that actually she found. Okay, so this is tricky. One doctor also found muscle mass on her legs, which muscle mass on your legs is consistent with someone who can walk, right?
Yeah,
right.
So she was kind of walking and developed some sort of muscle mass on her legs. So that was a red flag. But at the end of the day, no doctor could really. Yeah. The mom was going in there and saying, my daughter has X, right? And the doctors were treating her for whatever the mom was saying. That's what happened. That's why you cannot trust doctors. There, I said it. It's medical practice. It's not medical fact.
Yeah.
You have to do your own research. People that are sick, get a second advice. Not all doctors know everything, right, Brandon?
Yeah, you need a second opinion. Because if they diagnose it like that and with that looking into it, that's pretty dangerous and enabling people just to take advantage of the situation.
Or heck, even a third opinion. You keep going until, there's nothing wrong with that.
If you can afford it.
Yeah, if you can afford it. Yeah, that's one thing.
Well, I always go back to this, and people that have been here, I don't want to bore them, but there was a time in my life that I had a weird depression where I couldn't move, and it started feeling physical. And I'm like, well, you're depressed. It's like, well, dude, like I can't get up at night. I want to sleep all day. And I used to hate people. If you came up to me and said, hello, I wanted to tell you to die. Like it was weird. So I went to the doctors, took physicals. I was expecting the C word, cancer or something, the worst. And what happened is that, no, you're fine. You're fine. And I go, give me a complete blood test. Okay. Everything came back perfect except vitamin D. I went to another doctor. They said the same thing. No, you're fine. You just have a little bit, your vitamin D is just a little low. Just go out in the sun. Right? So I did my own research and I found out that my level of vitamin D was dangerously low.
Yeah.
So I got the supplements and I tripled the dose. I'm not recommending that to anybody. Okay. I'm just saying what I did. And a month later, I'm great.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can't just go in the sun. So that was kind of like the doctors didn't know what they were talking about, right? I did my own research. D-Nice says, this reminds me of The Sixth Sense with the mom who unalived the daughter. Interesting. D-Nice, hearts for you. Thanks for the continued support. Folks, if you want to support Nerd Report, if you want to support Nerd Report, you could do with Cash App, PayPal, or Super Chat right here. You could also gift memberships. There's a lot of ways you could do it. All funds go to replace my vehicle that took a dump and blew up. Now I will be talking about that a little bit more because I got people to thank, and I really, really appreciate you in a little bit. Thanks for sharing that link, Mod. It's Kim knows exactly what we're talking about. Vitamin D, and people laugh because it's vitamin D, bro.
Yeah,
vitamin D has to be taken with K for it to get absorbed. We're not trying to be Zen naturalist or whatever. This is facts. You need the sun. It gives you, the sun gives you life. The rays up your vitamin D levels, especially if you're dark skinned like me, because we have more resistant to the UV rays. And you will feel better. And that's the thing. But that's besides the point. I actually think that Gypsy Rose may have an underlying disease.
Like what? Like maybe mentally wise, or
No, I think the chemicals that her mom gave to her is
it could
probably
have developed something.
something's going to develop.
She may be like imbalanced then, right? Like chemically
Right.
imbalanced.
I don't think her brain's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Since a kid, she was medically induced.
Since a baby.
Since a baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it's fair for us to say she should have done this or she should have done that. So I don't even think this person knew that option was available. Thoughts?
I don't know. I think she did. I think she just was so desperate into being free from her mom's clutches. I think she just would try to do anything she could possible. And sadly that involved that at the time. I mean, she does regret it and I get that, but maybe that's what snapped. Maybe she just snapped, like I can't do this anymore. I'm done with all of this. And then boom,
So do you think it was necessary, this step, or it's
I think she would have not been with us. She would have been gone from the planet. She would have been ended.
Yeah.
Eventually, if she didn't do what she did. And I don't think it's not that it's necessary, but I also have this weird take that this may be a life and death self-defense.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I mean, it was really, if you think about it, I mean, she was a prisoner. Her mom kept her as a prisoner. She couldn't talk to nobody. She couldn't do nothing. It was pure hell for her.
Right. And I know a lot of people are getting upset because she's over here being an IG, social media influencer and stuff like that. And people tend to hate these type of people, but I don't understand. I don't think she knows what she's doing. And also her popularity is not really her fault.
Yeah.
And she was robbed of so much, like, right? She was robbed of a lot of things. And to a weird, I know Kim is here, but I think to a weird thing, this is like a conservatorship thing with the mom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Taking control of because the reason I refer to Kim, also subscribe to It's Kim. She's got some amazing stuff, especially when it comes to Britney Spears. I mean, she's got it. You don't have to be a fan of Britney Spears of music, but her life story is just amazing and stuff. And the tragedy, partial tragedy of Britney Spears' life the past few years until people like Kim fought for her freedom, right? And stuff like that. Obi-Wan, thank you so much, Lewis. I hope
thank you, Obi.
Help you. It does.
It
does very, very much help me, folks.
Obi-Wan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Obi-Wan. The Force is strong with you. All right. And I know you're dressed up like Captain America, but a lot of people call it Captain Puerto Rico because the Puerto Rican flag is the one that has one star, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, we're here in the Lone Star State, so.
Yeah. So thank you, Obi-Wan, for that. It's Kim says there's a lot of similarities between Britney and Gypsy. I think that, I don't know if you've done it before, Kim, but maybe that's a topic you may want to go into, and I'll be looking forward to that. So here, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't understand why people are tripping out on her. She's been locked up for 8 years. She even was locked up before even being locked up. So, let her have her freedom. Let her have fun. She's in love now. She's trying to move on with her life.
She did. She paid her time,
she
right?
Paid a lot of time. Her whole life, basically, she paid. Basically, so let her alone. Just let her have fun. Figure out Instagram like all of us. Still haven't figured it out. But
no, I think this is and like people say like social media being this big is bad for your mental health. But even if this doesn't happen to her past, it's bad for everyone. Especially Bernadette. Because I talked to you, I've spoken to you for hours. That this thing stresses me out, the YouTube world, right? And stuff. And I think I'm kind of I'm kind of normal. You know what I mean?
Who wants to be normal, Lewis? Come on, we're all a little mad here. It's okay.
So I'm gonna probably. My tongue doesn't want to go this way, but it's Munchausen. Am I doing it right? By proxy. By proxy, I believe means when somebody is imposing mental illness to a child. It's child abuse, and constantly taking care, saying that they need to be taken care of by their mother. This was mostly brought to my attention by the movie It, the chapter 1, where there was a mom doing that to one of the kids. It's a horror movie, It, with the clown. And also, I do believe that Gypsy Rose did take multiple personalities and stuff at one point. Did she, Bernadette? She did, right?
Yeah, she did.
I believe I read that. And if you look, if you want to associate to films, the movie Split, James McAvoy does a brilliant splitting of personalities. And I wonder if M. Night Shyamalan was inspired by this, her story, and brought it into the film, because he takes this in this movie. He takes the form of the bomb. He takes the form of different people,
like a child.
Right?
Yeah. I think maybe. I mean, who knows? It could be. I mean, it's a sad story, but it is a great, kind of great movie concept if you think about it. So
let's get we could do this. Let's get Kim on real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and send a link to It's Kim in the Telegram real quick.
You know, it's crazy that I forgot about whenever y'all mentioned Eminem, that he was a part of that, and he has two different symptoms or like personalities, like Slim Shady, Eminem, Marshall Mathers. Like he does that in his raps. Like he goes through different personalities.
Well, so does Louis Love and Louis Lecca. Only difference is I play good music.
Okay.
I hate Slim Shady or Eminem. By the way, Kim, I sent you the link. I would love your intake in here, your input in here. Hearts for Kim. Before I get to Kim, who is right there, I'm gonna take this moment because I gotta thank you guys. You are the ones that bring life to the channel, along with everyone watching. We are doing a GoFundMe for my vehicle. Unfortunately, where I'm living, without a vehicle, you ain't anything. And to keep Nerd Report afloat, you all are helping me replace my car. And there's a lot of names here. Katrina, Anonymous, Melissa, Ashley, Joanna, Deanna, Anita, another Anonymous, Karen, Kimberly, Lara, Peter, Mark, Karen, Doof, Anne, Sabrina, Melissa, Shelly, Bernadette, of course, Deanna again, Leonor, Bonnie, Tyrana, Leslie in the house, Rebecca, Stephanie, D-Nice, Leonor again, and Tyrana. Folks, I'm going to share that link in the comments before I bring Kim in here. And if you guys want to support, you can. And there you go. There's the link in the comments. And Happy New Year. What is it? Jackie Swan. Happy New Year. And Happy New Year. It's Kim in the house. Let's go.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Did you hear me okay? Are we all good?
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Year.
Great. Hi.
Yeah, you sound great.
Thank you. I'm just moving my stuff around here so I can see. Okay, there we go. We should be good.
So this
all right.
This is a very similar story to it has a lot of parallels to Britney Spears, in my opinion, when I was looking at this. What do you agree, or what do you think?
I do. I think this is a very complicated situation, and it's one that I like to say when we're talking about any instances of what I'm going to call CA. People tend to look at it from a lens that hopefully they haven't experienced anything like it. So it's hard for them to be able to relate to it and to understand where someone is coming from. And hopefully most of us don't understand, where they're coming from, because it's horrible. And I think the differences with Gypsy and with Brittany, obviously there are some, but what we had in both cases was we had a parent who took control of their child's life and exploited it to get things that they wanted. Her condition, they were Make-A-Wish stepped up a lot and gave them a lot of trips. They got a free house from Habitat for Humanity. Everything they needed was given to them because of Gypsy's condition. Whereas on Brittany's side, Brittany was forced to, be happy and perform and be happy performing Barbie in order for Jamie Spears and everybody in the conservatorship to get what they wanted. And ultimately, for someone to get out of that, it is incredibly difficult. You look at someone like Brittany, that arguably you would say she has power, right? Her name holds power. Her voice holds power. It took her 13 years to get out. Now we're talking about Gypsy Rose, who had spent her whole life in this situation. And it's stuff like people go, well, why didn't she reach out for this? Or why didn't she reach out for that? Who says she even knew that it existed?
That's
this young woman had been cut off from the world. She had no idea.
She wasn't allowed internet. She wasn't allowed any of that stuff. So.
Exactly. So it's like everybody's kind of, people are assuming that she would have had a normal upbringing and would have had a normal amount of knowledge, except she didn't have normal education.
No.
She didn't have normal exposure to the world. Her world was a bubble.
Another thing I was being told was like her parents. Her Gypsy Rose Lee's mom, her parents, they wanted nothing to do with the family. She wanted nothing to do with the family, so they couldn't help either, even if they wanted to.
Exactly.
And you know what, Kim, real quick before you continue, I want you all to understand, in my opinion, that the fact, because I have worked with Make-A-Wish, and also other charities when you do some Star Wars stuff. A lot of people don't want to donate to those companies because they assume the money's being fraudulent, is a fraud sometimes. And you son of a bitch lady that did that to this girl and to these charities, put the charity's name on it. Because you're not only hurting Gypsy here, you're hurting other kids that actually need stuff, because now you have a narrative out there that there was a fraud, a false claims, people faking their illness. So it's a domino effect and stuff, and it makes me hate that woman more. Honestly, you catch my drift? Because now you have a reason. You're giving people a reason not to donate because they're hearing on the news the bad stuff that happened to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. When 99% of it is great, the 1% it's on the news.
That's 1%.
You always have that bad one.
It's like they're treating like an ATM. It feels like to me.
They were. Go for it, Kim.
No, I was just gonna say, I think the thing with Dee Dee in particular, the mother, I think something that speaks volumes about her is reportedly when the family received her ashes back after she had been cremated, they flushed them down the toilet.
Yes, they did.
Like, that is how hated this woman was by her family. She was a horrible person. And I think, okay, two things I just want to say quickly. Just the first is that I think people that think that Gypsy is a terrible person, I want you just to imagine this for a second. Imagine that the person who is in charge of your life is basically holding you down and then says to a doctor, cut them open. Start opening their body, put things in their body, take things out of their body. You have no say. You're just held down. You're being poisoned every day. All those things. If someone is doing that to you, I cannot, in good conscience, blame them for going to extreme measures to get out. And as you find out how dysfunctional the relationship was between, and horrible it was for Gypsy and the boyfriend, who is still in prison and should still be in prison, and I hope never gets out.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that though? Because I have
Louis, there's a lot of things about the breakdown of that relationship and the requirements that the boyfriend had in carrying out the unaliving of her mother that I cannot say on your show.
Yeah, it's not.
They'll probably demonetize me anyways, just for being me. So I'm just kidding. But go ahead.
If I remember this correctly, and I'm sure some people in the chat are aware, and please fill in the details for me because I'm trying to remember to the many documentaries I've watched. I believe he wanted to, if I'm remembering this correctly, he wanted to SAD Dee Dee before he killed her.
Right there. She admitted in court she was the one who wrote that on the Facebook, not him. She was, because she wanted to get caught. So, it wasn't him that wanted to do it. She was putting that on there, saying it was him saying that.
So
but there also were allegations that she essentially took the hit instead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My point is that he is a very disturbed person. Mm-hmm. And I also would say to him at that point, if you're talking to someone and you find out they've been in prison, why did he not go to the police? Why did he not do that? Because he would have had the upbringing and the knowledge to get the right people in charge, but he didn't. He took advantage of the situation, someone who was fighting for their life, and manipulated it. And that's why the court treated him differently than Gypsy.
That does make sense because again, when everybody's after Gypsy, I'm like, have you heard her talk? She's 1 year old. You know what I mean? Because her brain didn't develop. And we forget the importance of a developing human brain. It doesn't get fully developed to like almost your mid-20s. And if you're constantly being bashed and poisoned, and you're actually imagine being a teenage girl, because she's decent looking, right? And looking like a monster because your mom's making you look like that. Everything. I mean, it's just layer after layer, folks. Well, go ahead.
That actually is perfect to the second thing that I want to say, and main reason why I offered to come on here is that you guys had talked about her potentially having different personalities. And I wanted to mention that what we know about that, we used to call it multiple personality disorder. It's now known as dissociative identity disorder. And it's normally associated with complex trauma within childhood, usually before the age of 6 has been how it's been explained to me. And it's when the trauma is so great that the brain does what it has to do to survive, and it can create multiple alters in the brain. Mm-hmm. Now, that in no way means that people that have DID are dangerous people. Their brain did something that it had to do to protect itself because it could not fathom what was happening to them. And it is upsetting, I think, for a lot of people that have DID, from what I've seen in those communities, that there is this image, like with the movie Split, that if you have DID, that you must be a monster, you must be a terrible person, you must be dangerous. That's not true. But it is entirely possible that Gypsy could have something like that. And I also say that because sorry, I just thought there's someone in the chat who has disclosed that they have DID, and it just said, thank you for talking about this. I hope I'm doing okay. I see you in the chat. Please correct me if I say something wrong. There is definitely a connection between CPTSD, which I have, and DID. Mm-hmm. It's very common that people with DID also have CPTSD, but there's a lot of people that have CPTSD that do not have DID. And it all has to do with what the brain does in survival mode. And my hope with Gypsy very much is that I think everybody and their mom has been talking about this case since it became public. And that means people have been profiting off of her story and writing their own narratives. And she hasn't been able to actually set the record straight and say what she has to say. And I'm hoping that through her time in prison, she has been able to get mental health help, which I would assume she has at this point. And will now finally be able to sit and...
Well, doesn't she have a book coming out?
Yeah, but she actually will be able to tell her story her way for the first time. Because enough is enough with everybody else profiting off of her. Let her tell her side of the story.
Yeah, it's like she had Arrested Development in her life. It's not a TV show. It's a true thing. It happens, It's like she's been emotionally stunted and mentally stunted.
The way I'm looking at it, Brandon, sorry, is the multiple personalities I totally see as a thing like, okay, this is your life, your life that you were given, Lewis's life, and a tragedy happens. You develop an alternate Lewis that doesn't acknowledge the first Lewis, so you don't have to deal with the stress that you went through as the first. You get what I'm saying? So
it's not like, always that cut and dry. It's what I've heard it explained is with DID is it's almost like a bus. There's a lot of people on the bus, but only one person can drive at a time. And sometimes people in the bus are aware of what's going on with the driver, and sometimes they're not. That's how it's been explained to me. Please correct me if I am wrong in the chat. I'm learning like everybody else. And I'm not.
That would make sense. That would make sense, though. Yeah.
Really
but everybody's so different.
And I also think with the medical field, and I think good doctors will tell you it's medical practice. It's a learning. We're still learning about things we thought we knew. So I think it's fair to say, I mean, we're not professionals. Obviously, we're not doctors. But I'm sure doctors are having this discussion. It's like this. Well, no, I don't think it's like that, and vice versa. And that's what betters people. But I want to say thank you to Carbonized Stardust. The like button has morphed into a skin stealer. Punch it. There you go. I love what you're saying right there. Jenny Faye Pop Muppet says, Happy New Year's, all the best. And of course, Anne Rasmussen, a very big supporter. Nerd Report, my favorite. Hey, compliments will get you everywhere. We have a packed panel. We're discussing things here. I'm your host, Lewis. We got Bernadette Lonefire. We got Brandon Lonefire. And we got it's Kim as a guest because Kim has reported a lot as well on Britney Spears, and there are some parallels there. And Bernadette, did you want to add anything? Because you've been talking very passionately about this case because you've been following.
Yeah, I have been. I just honestly, I would love to see her grow. I would love to see her heal. I would love to see her just move on with her life, get better. And I know she regrets what happened. I get that. I think she does, feel really bad. But at that time, I mean, she just wanted to get out any way she could, and I mean, can you really blame anybody for that? But that, I think it could have been dealt with a different way, but at that time being, that was probably the only thing she could see happening. And what's up?
Yeah.
Is this?
I wanted to comment on something because I saw a couple comments and I kind of just I want to just give a perspective on it because I think it's totally fine for people to be like, she could have done it a different way. It could have been better or whatever. But when people say things to the effect of like, people, what you're saying, if you support Gypsy, is that it's fine for kids to unalive their parents and get away with it. First of all, she didn't get away with it. She was in prison.
Yeah.
She stood trial. She accounted for her behavior and she served her sentence. She did what she repaid the state of what she was asked to do. And the second is that I bluntly will never blame anyone for doing what they have to do to survive. Ever.
Yeah.
And until you've been in that place that you're within an inch of your life.
Yep.
I mean, some of the things that you do in those moments, it's not voluntary anymore. You go into survival mode. You have mechanisms in your body that fight. So I don't think she got away with it because she's spent the last 7 years in prison. And before that, she spent over a decade also in prison, a different kind of prison where she was regularly tortured.
Yeah. And
I don't blame her in the least.
Her whole life, not just
that actually is worse because our instincts usually as humans is to go to your mom, especially, right?
Yeah.
That's the first person we fall in love with. They say, the first person you see out of the womb is your mom. Okay. You fall in love with your mom and then your mom's betraying you. That's the person that's supposed to keep you by nature, or nature is to be safe. And this person is destroying you. That's why I agree with Kim, maybe even more drastically. The what she did is a self-defense move. And I 100% believe that's probably the only move she knew. Now, remember, going to the authorities, it was the right way to do it. But
at the time,
remember that the authorities are also the doctors, and they let it go. She did go to the authorities. It's the doctors, because doctors are supposed to report abuse. I'm not saying the doctors are bad. They're human. They make mistakes. The ones she went to. But that is an authority. She went to the authorities. They failed her. Now you're telling me to go to the cops who fail more than who do you think are more trustworthy? Cops or doctors? Fairly or unfairly, we always go to doctors. We trust them more. We have, anyways. Bernadette, go for it.
We're supposed to, anyways. But
we're supposed to.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I don't condone what happened. But if that's what happened at the time where she needed to get herself out of that prison for life, there, well, Godspeed. I'm sorry. I don't condone that, but. We don't know what was all going in her mind. None of us do.
Well, she couldn't even defend herself, it seems like. So she had to get somebody else to help her. And
unfortunately,
she had no money. She had no connections. She was being physically hurt. She was being tortured through medicine. She had no freedom. She was a prisoner. And she saw it out and she ran.
Isn't there a child support, or not child support, but child services? Didn't they go to the house once?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember if they did, and
they don't get it 100% either. You know what I
mean?
I
mean, to be honest, though, like we just watched what happened with Ruby Frankie, and how many times we had CPS called on them, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
What did it took? What did it take? It took that little boy getting out of a panic room and running to a neighbor, and that was the second time he ran. That was the second time he ran away, and he got out, and then went and begged for help. That's what you have, these kids that don't have the resources to help themselves. It's easy to say like, oh, well, they could have done this or they could have done that, but that's not where they were.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we not all more mad at Dee Dee? Like, why did you torture your child?
That is weird, right?
Whoa.
We're all mad at Gypsy, but we're not mad at her mom. I'm mad at Dee Dee.
Well, she was a monster.
Years, she exploited the system. She stole money from people. Yeah. She abused her daughter.
Yeah.
And for God's sakes, the family hated her. She didn't want Gypsy.
Why are we not hating on Dee Dee?
I know why. I'm going to tell you. Because of this. Unfortunately, a lot of part of human nature is, let me add this, we're upset when we see others happy.
Very true.
So we're not looking at the bad moments, usually on social media especially. We're looking at the good moments because those are the ones you post. She's in love. She has friends. This is what she has a new ring. And then someone's going to go, she's monetizing everything.
Everyone's monetized off of her the whole time she's been in prison. Her mom monetized after her from the moment she was born.
I agree.
Yeah, let her get some bag.
Let her mess up too. Let her mess up. Because the price she paid is not worth the 6 million followers.
No.
It's not. She's ultimately not going to enjoy this, probably. I hope she does. I feel she could sell a book, make a couple hundred, have a few friends, have 6 million. Folks, when you get 6 million people on your following list, when you're forgotten, after a while, the hype dies down, there's probably going to be 30 people watching her Instagram. That's the way the algorithm works. You're hot and then you're not, especially in the States. We have ADD. Next, people are upset at this. This is what they're upset. They're upset that she's doing her cosplay. She's doing she's happy.
That she's finally living.
Right. She's living. Let her mess up on her own. Don't assume also that this is a tragedy about to happen. That's why I asked the question in the comments, because I don't think that. Let people mess up on their own. Let Brittany mess up on her own. Her parents have nothing to do with this shit. Brittany built the empire. Let her give her money away, not dress up, sing, not sing, date this, date that. It's her life. No one should take control of it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
No.
It's her free will.
Yeah.
Free will. Free will.
Yep.
How do you like that, Kim? How do you like that, Brittany? How do you like that?
100%. Like, let people live their lives. And I mean, the funny thing is too, like, I just thought about it as well. Like, Gypsy, I believe, had been declared like mentally incompetent, basically, partially by doctors, like because her mental state wasn't right, was what they were saying, that she was frozen at a certain age and time because of all of her sicknesses. And it's the same thing that like when
look at that.
Kim's face says it all.
Do not delete this person. By the way, mods, we do not delete. We're not the other. I know people are part of different communities here, mod everywhere else. I do not delete. It's not
Rhonda,
a personal insult, but this
Rhonda,
is it's ridiculous.
I think you may have maybe missed part of what I said when I first started talking about this, was that it took Britney 13 years while being a superstar to be able to have the general public believe her, that someone had taken advantage of her, that someone had taken over her life, and she had been trafficked through working. She had had an IUD put inside of her against her will. She'd also had other medical things done to her against her will. She had her freedom taken away, her children taken away, and everything else. Britney also was, had an advantage. How do I put this? It's different than Gypsy because Britney was an adult at the time she was put into the conservatorship. She first tried to get her own attorney. That got kiboshed. Then she tried to get another attorney. That got kiboshed. Then she started trying to reach out to people privately to get help. That got kiboshed. She lost her spirit. She broke down and she completely became a shell of herself. Then she got back into music. She found fire again. She started fighting. Then what did they do? They threw her in the institution, drugged her full of lithium, and tried to take her out, in my opinion. She got out of that institution because the fans all put the dots together and went, she needs help. She needs to get out. And that is how she got out.
Well,
that is a privilege that Britney had, that millions and millions and millions of people across America do not have, that are put into things like conservatorships or guardianships or have other people take over their lives. They don't have that. Instead, they are stuck, and most of the time their life ends in complete misery with everything stripped from them because of the way that these systems work. That would have been Gypsy. She would have died at the hands of her mother, who was incredibly sick with Munchausen's by proxy and was a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
Gypsy did not have the same kind of knowledge and understanding of the world around her that Britney did.
Yeah.
Gypsy did the best with what she had. And it was not great. It wasn't great. I'm not saying that what she did was okay, but what I'm saying is that they both had to fight for their lives and their freedom, and they did what they had to do.
I think it's
the big thing is
understandable.
Britney had a freaking army behind her. Gypsy didn't.
That's
like
nothing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Don't take Kim off. Don't take out Kim off, because she will go at you. She will go at it.
No. Another thing is,
Rhonda, I'm not going to talk about your daughter. I'm not bringing your daughter into this because she has no part in this debate. We're talking about two public figures at this point. And what I'm saying is they both had to fight for their freedom. They had to do it in different ways. And Gypsy had been completely sheltered her whole life and did not know the way that the world worked.
And honestly,
you don't know that she didn't know that. You can't tell me that
different.
she wasn't properly educated. She'd barely been to school.
Yeah.
This girl knew nothing.
Go
Who
ahead,
even
Brandon.
knew if she knew how to use a phone?
I was going to say conservatorships are different. Not everybody knows about how different ways they can be imposed and placed in your life, because I had to take care of my nephew from going into the foster care system, and then they told me, hey, you're in a conservatorship. You have to watch out for him. It's not all about monetization. It's about the well-being, but some people abuse it and they turn it into these kind of things.
Well, it goes back to the charity. People are gonna focus on that. Make-A-Wish had a fraud in there. They're not gonna focus on that. Make-A-Wish usually gets stuff right, and then people are gonna be hesitant to donate. Now, I want you all to think of this, because I have said this throughout the years. Britney Spears is a rich, famous, white lady. Hold on. And she still was a slave, man.
Yeah.
Imagine other people that don't have a voice. Now, we use Britney Spears. We use this situation to amplify, hopefully, for others that don't have a voice. This is probably happening with the power Britney Spears has. They crushed her. And for months, the internet was exploding, backing her up, and they still would not free her. Imagine the crap Gypsy Rose went through, who wasn't popular. I mean, it is insane. Or other people that are being imprisoned right now. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think even Kim, you brought that up a little bit. Britney Spears is a powerful person, and she was at the mercy of this corrupt, or how corrupt the system could be, right? And again, she did not. I think this was self-defense. Totally understand what she did.
Lewis, but quite bluntly, one thing that I feel like people don't really understand when it comes to Britney's situation with the conservatorship is normally Americans are given, I believe, a 72-hour grace period. They're notified that they're being put in a conservatorship, and they have 72 hours to get a lawyer and to present their case of why they should not be in the conservatorship. They have the freedom to have someone of their choosing represent them and defend them. Britney was stripped of that. She was not given that notice, which is unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. But again, you had all these people that went, we could get some money out of this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. And I'm sorry. And that's why when I look at Gypsy's situation, I look at Dee Dee, I go,
yeah.
Because Dee Dee had everything to gain from having Gypsy in this situation. And you can't tell me she truly loved her daughter.
Oh, God.
Because if you love someone,
daughter,
you don't
would you put your daughter through that? No, you would not put your kid through any of that.
Well, let me ask you something, Bernadette, because she had a divorce with her husband.
Yeah.
And we don't know the extent of that relationship. And he left her with the daughter. So I'm wondering if the way her weird way of coping with that is to control the daughter through fake illnesses. So the daughter couldn't go out on her own. So the daughter was under control. Do you think that's a possibility? Because she couldn't control the husband.
Yeah, well, but the husband did try, or the ex-husband did try. The father did try to come into Gypsy's life. It was Dee Dee who did not allow him into the life.
How is that possible? Because I know in California...
So Dee Dee had control of Gypsy, right? So Gypsy didn't have a phone. She didn't have internet. She had nothing. It was through Dee Dee. So when the father did call at, or whatever, she would make sure Gypsy never found out, or if she did, like, okay, I want to say hi, happy birthday to my daughter. Oh, well, she's sleeping at, she would make excuses up. She wanted the father not to know anything she was doing with Gypsy. And she would lie to Gypsy. Your father wants nothing to do with you. Your father abandoned you. Your father nothing but lies about her father. That was all Dee Dee, not Gypsy.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I saw somebody in the chat just saying, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Again, when we're talking about Gypsy and we're talking about essentially a child, I'm not sure how old she was exactly when Dee Dee passed.
I think she was already 18, 19 years old.
She was 18, 19?
18, 19 years old.
Okay, so she was technically an adult, but I don't think it is a far stretch for us to say that she was not at the point of emotional maturity and thinking like an adult at this point. Separate from that, she was also being poisoned. She was having all these things happen to her. And then people are amazed that she wasn't thinking straight potentially and made some crazy choices.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the situation, but there's a thing some people don't understand. It's a nervous laugh, like shocking or something.
It's
I hear it all the time.
It's the laugh you get when Jason Voorhees murders someone on screen. You're not really happy the person got murdered, but you're like, okay, it's funny because it's it's like nervousness, fear. It's all attached to laughing. So I'm not laughing at the situation, but except this one. What the hell, man? People, she was poisoned. She was under drugs. You don't think straight when you're on drugs.
Yeah.
When you're on drugs, God knows if she was on mushrooms. I don't know. The mom probably put stuff. Do you think Gypsy even knows what she was on completely?
No,
do we have a
probably not. I mean, maybe with the court case, they would have figured it all out.
No,
but
because
didn't the mom, didn't Dee Dee even take some of her drugs as well?
What if the mom was a drug addict? And had a list? Did they have a list? At the age of 2, you were given this. At the age of 3, no one knows that. It's out of your system. And
but they would have been able to go back in pharmacy records, though, Lewis.
Yeah, but did they have to go to the pharmacy?
I would assume they would have had to do something because they would because somebody else just said, how is it possible that this happened and there was nothing wrong with her? And it was because every time somebody questioned, they moved and they went to a different doctor. She literally had like hundreds of doctors. So for this investigation, they would have had to subpoena all of her health records from every single one of those doctors. And that would have had what was prescribed to her at every appointment.
So it's like they're kicking up dust on her medical records, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
But what if she was given illegal substances? Like between,
could have been. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't put it past the mom.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
Who knows what she's done? That we don't know of. That they haven't followed up on, but who knows what happened?
Rally Tea with Krista and Mary. Thanks for the very generous super chat that goes to the car fund to replace my vehicle in California. You need a car, you're screwed. So thank you very much for that. It's going to go to Uber and stuff like that. Some rentals for now. She also believed she was sick. True. Yes. Diddy had her convinced she was sick. That's a mental illness too. Mm-hmm. That's sick. She believed her mom for a long time. Yeah, because like I said, I think this is my opinion, but there's a lot of fact to it. You trust your parents as a little baby. Yeah. That's what mammals do. That's what humans do. We trust our parents, right? Yeah. By nature. And if they're doing something bad to you, you would think it's not bad because that's what you're used to. You don't even know. You're like, that's normal. How many kids get abused as a kid, as very young, and they don't report it because they don't know. They're used to that lifestyle. And then you can't sit here and say, well, I would have called the cops at 8. Dude, no, because they started getting abused at 1. Or in her case, even before. Yeah. She thinks that's what family is, being poisoned.
That's normal. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Lewis, actually, it's been kind of crazy today with the whole the list coming out randomly, potentially.
Is it out?
That the first time I actually ever called in to Popcorn as a fan, like how I met you guys, was because I called in at an open call when we were talking about the Maxwell trial. And I was so upset because the expert there was kind of trying to say that the girls, they probably did give some consent because they were totally cool with being there, because some of them were still doing, I'm going to call it adult work. So they must not have been that traumatized by the whole thing. To which I kind of just said, well, I mean, who says any of these girls were not raised that type of thing for them was normal? Quite possibly their first experiences were not on that island. What I'm saying, right? It could have started very young. They were G-worded from a very young age to think that this was normal. So they could be molded and used into that profession. And if they choose to continue doing that in an environment where they have control over it, where they choose whether or not it happens or it doesn't, for some people that could be considered empowering. I personally don't feel that way, but I know for some people it is. And it's a choice. I think we all love to judge people based on our own life experiences and what we think is common sense. Common sense isn't common. It's not. Yeah, and everybody's version of common sense is different depending on what they've had to survive.
Facts.
So facts, yeah.
And that's their the baseline for them, because like he was saying, kids when they're like 1 year old, they get this treatment. They don't know what's wrong or what's not because that's their baseline.
Yeah.
No, they think that's normal. They think that's normal. I don't think there's any other way to put it there. And I think there's another unfortunate part of human nature is jealousy. And I think seeing her happy without really knowing the life story. And also, look, the headlines are woman that ended mom is now a social media star. That's what the headlines are. Okay.
It's not fair.
So that's what people are looking at and stuff. And also shout out to Down the Rabbit Hole. I want to get you on here, girls. So let's pick a topic so you could special guest here on Nerd Report, especially.
I kind of did a double take there because I'm like, I looked at your channel this morning. I'm like, oh, you're here. Hi.
I watch your channel all the time. Yeah, I watch her channel all the time. She's doing this is what it's all about on YouTube. We're regular people giving regular how would I say, theories and advice. We're not right, we're not wrong. We keep the conversation going, but we keep it real. I do not have a teleprompter. Kim does not have a teleprompter, or Bernadette or Brandon do not have a teleprompter. They have to read.
Teleprompter?
Prompter.
Oh,
I got a helicopter pad on my roof.
Yeah, we'll take the helicopter soon. But...
Hey, speaking of helicopters, the Nerd Report, the Shelly says Nerd Report is her favorite.
This is why we love Nerd Report, though, too.
All right.
We love it.
Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Let's last word on. We'll continue the show, but now let's open topics for 5 minutes or whatever, and relax and do exactly what Joanna's saying is ha 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 a little bit. So let's do the ha ha minute. I want Bernadette. Let's do your take on this before we change the topic.
Okay. Well, last thing I'll say about this is I do wish her the best, her and her husband. I really do. I just hope she finds the peace that she needs to find. And yeah, I am for Gypsy. I really am, because she deserves to have a life finally, after all these years, So good on her. Live your life, girl.
Oh, me? Okay. This is unfortunately it's going to follow her for the rest of her life. She's never going to be able to shake this, but she hopefully has people around her now in her life that won't emotionally stunt her or mentally stunt her, because she needs a support system, and she's going to have to outgrow this. I don't know if she has the capacity to, but I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Tim?
Very similar. I wish the best for her. I do think that her parole needs to be enforced. And I would like to see, if I had my way, if I was the judge in this situation, I would be saying she needs to be in trauma therapy on a regular basis, mandatory, and that as her mental state, as she proves that she can be a contributing member to society and not be stepping out of line, that the things start to be, relaxed, and then she can live her life. But she is going to have to earn back some trust, because she did break the law. And it seems that she does recognize that. And she has admitted that she knows that she went too far. She doesn't want people doing what she did. But I think she could be a very powerful voice for people that don't have one. And I hope that that's something she's able to do, because I think she could really change the world for the better. But people have to let her have the space to do that.
Right.
Exactly.
And then my last thing is I disagree with anybody saying she's a monster. I think that's ridiculous. And with all due respect, I probably think you should research the entire situation again and reassess, because probably you're just looking at the real quick headline and not looking at it. Also, put yourself in that position, and also know, like we talked about for the last hour, when you're born into something and you're born into something that's evil and that's corrupt and that's abusive, you probably think that's normal. And that takes a lot of help to shake off. So she had no idea, I'm almost 100% sure, that there were other options, especially when going to the authorities. Guess what? Again, doctors are authorities. They failed her. I'm not saying the doctors are bad. I'm just saying everything went through. She didn't get freed. She wasn't able to help herself.
She didn't catch on
in any other way. She wouldn't have been with us. And God forbid, there's a big possibility that this woman is internally damaged by all the stuff she received for 20 years, practically. Think about it. When you're developing, it is the most crucial time of your life. You got to eat healthy. You got to do the right exercise. She was getting nothing of that. Okay. So I hope it's not true. Let her mess up on her own. Don't assume she's going to mess up because she's famous. That being said, let's get to a fun part here on Nerd Report. Let me throw in my logo real quick. Boom. All right, it is time to chill. that was a tough topic and everything, and you know.
And I want to say too, like everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everybody can have their own feelings about it and everything else. But I guess I look at it from a bit of a different perspective. And I know this is a bit of a downer, and I know we're trying to move into a happier place. But like some of you guys know that, you know, obviously stuff happened to me. You don't get CPTSD for nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And I know what it's like to be in the place where you don't think you're going to make it, right? You don't. And you do things and you do what you have to do to live. And sometimes those things that you do are unthinkable. Now, I've never, you know, taken anybody out, but if I had in that place, if I was fighting for my life and it meant taking out the other person, I would have done it.
Yeah.
And that does not make me a monster.
No. Survival mode,
that's just the way that I look at it.
Goes.
And then, with all due respect, Rhonda, we know you're trolling. And
I'm saying right now, like I'm telling you, you're allowed to have your own opinion. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying that I look at it differently because I know what it's like to have to fight for your life.
Yeah, but now that we're on, you know, on the more relaxed part, my daughter has half a brain. Who talks like that, Rhonda? Come on, get out of here. We love you anyways.
That is true. Why would you put that?
Who talks like that? Give me a break.
I'm sure your daughter has more than half a brain. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah, well, if she had half a brain, she'd be an extra in a Thriller video. She'd be a zombie. She'd be dead. Who has half a brain? Get out of here. It's not the By the way, folks, since we're starting to go into a new phase in 2024, I am going to do more on locations, and I want to walk Hollywood Boulevard because of Scientology stuff that's been going on. Kim, have you been following that?
A bit, yeah, a little bit.
It is dude. It is crazy. It is crazy. Literally, TikTokers have been standing in front of the Scientology recruitment center. I mean, the real expensive one. And as they're trying to recruit people, the TikTokers are like, nope, it's a cult. It's a cult. It's human trafficking. It's a cult. It's a cult. And people are not subscribing to Scientology. And they're like, could you say Xenu? Say Xenu, you know, their alien god or whatever. And they have stopped recruitment in the Scientology building. It's just crazy, man. It is nuts.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm just seeing something in the chat here. Rhonda, I understand you're saying that your daughter has a syndrome that affects her brain. When you say that my daughter has half a brain, we're not going to assume that that's what you meant. That was in no way us trying to shade or insult your daughter. I said myself, I'm sure your daughter is an incredible, like, nice, smart person. We're not trying to fight. We are not trying to fight. This is not me trying to fight you. I've said you can have your own opinion. I am not making fun of your daughter. It sounds like you want to fight, and I'm not doing it. I'm not giving it to you. Okay? So to be clear, no disrespect to you. I wish the best for you. I hope that you're doing great. I hope your daughter's doing great. And if all you're going to do is make this an argument, I'm not here for it.
Well, let me also make another thing clear real quick. That was Kim, and she's talking to me. Lewis did. It sounds more like you're making fun of your daughter by saying she has half a brain, when in reality, you're the one with no brain. Get the fuck out of my channel. Mods, execute Order 66. May the force be with you. There you go. First, make fun of. Everybody make fun of Rhonda. Then mods show her how
then
little.
Apologize.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, respect your daughter.
Don't your daughter on my channel, okay?
How can you talk about your daughter like that? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And don't attack Kim here or pretend. No. Get out of here.
She's probably one of the kindest people that's on here.
Yeah, we're not so much.
Kindest person on here. I'm not kind. Don't confuse me with kind. What are you talking about?
Not you. I'm saying she is. We're not.
Kim is kind. We're not. We fuck people up here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Sorry, Kim, but you know.
Kim and I were really agreeing on this entire Gypsy Rose thing. Yeah. Look, if you have a physical problem, you don't call it half a brain.
Yeah, no, especially with your
that
kid.
is a troll.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I think the thing. I'm not going to assume that that's what you mean when you say
exactly.
that. I'm not going to assume that it's a medical diagnosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
God.
All I'm saying. If you had said my daughter has a condition like that and she can tell right from wrong, I would have understood more where you were coming from. But that's not the way that I
They
interpret
didn't
it.
explain themselves correctly. They didn't say
Well,
it right.
yeah.
They just did it in little bits here and there and making fun. So it's like, how are we going to assume that? How are we going to know that?
And I'm not gonna. And I don't want anybody putting words in our mouth saying that we're making fun of
Exactly.
people
No,
that
no,
have
that's a
mental
troll.
medical conditions, because that's not what we're doing.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I also want to say, there's a lot of people, since we're on that just give and take segment, there's a lot of people that put words in my mouth. Bernadette could be an example of you seeing that. You've seen people put words in my mouth.
Yeah.
I called this person that. Sometimes people come on here and they have a different opinion than me. It doesn't mean it's my opinion and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're dumb enough to say we were making fun of a young lady's illness, and we set the record straight and we say we're not, and you continue with that narrative, you could sit on this finger and rotate the hell out of this galaxy, dude. I don't have any patience for that. You hear what you want to hear. No, Kim did not, or anybody here did not insult anybody. She's been very, very nice. And you guys were, well, she was very, very aggressive and stuff. So,
Well, first of all, it seemed like she assumed like we were talking about her, and we weren't. We were talking about Gypsy Rose, not her or her daughter or her
we're
situation.
talking about this topic.
So,
I'll fight you. D-Nice, I'll fight you. Oh, well, that's a compliment, though. So why would I find a compliment?
She'll kick all of our butts, probably. Maybe.
Yeah. How's how did you celebrate the year in Canada?
Oh, I went up north with some family and up into the mountains, and we just had a night where we played Cards Against Humanity and had ice wine and had a good night. That's all.
Nice.
That's what we did.
Wait, Kim, what is ice wine?
Yeah, I want to know.
Ice wine is a specific type of it's a specific type of wine. Normally it's made in places where wineries have colder climates. So the grapes are left for an extra long time on the vine, so they get super ripe and super sweet. And then they are picked in the middle of the night. The sun has to be down. Usually has to be below zero, usually around 20 degrees below 0 Celsius has been how it's been explained to me. And then they pick those grapes, and they're so incredibly sweet. They're like, it's beyond sweet wine. It is like syrup, but it's incredible. It's incredible. And so it's ice wine is usually a bit more expensive because the process of making it is a lot more involved and unique, and it can't be made anywhere you have a winery. It has to be in that type of a climate.
Yeah, it sounds like, you said go out at midnight when the stars are aligning, the full moon is out, and it's just good Lord.
Have you seen Waterboy, Kim?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen Waterboy? Oh,
I love that movie.
Yeah, he's like finding because he loves water, and he has a thing. He's like, this is from a glacier in Alaska. This water. It just reminded me that you gotta watch the movie. It's funny.
He feeds him kind of like a nerd, southern nerd, but he feeds the jocks water, and that's his claim to fame.
H2O.
I will say I'm not a huge drinker, but I love my ice wine, and I've tried a lot from different places of the world. I do think the best ice wine comes from Canada. I'm a little bit biased, but also like it wins all the time.
See, when you said that, I'm just thinking you wine with ice cubes.
No. You usually will keep the wine. Normally you would have it in the fridge before you serve it. You want it to be cold. But no, it's just ice wine because it's picked and created below freezing. That's all.
That sounds amazing. And that's only in Alaska?
No, in Canada.
No. They
you said Alaska, Canada. Sorry.
No, it's made in Canada, usually in if you guys know where Niagara Falls is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In that area, there's a wine country there. And then also in BC, British Columbia, so above like California stateside up there. Usually that's where it's made.
Nice. Bernadette and Brandon, what you two do for New Year's? And don't say each other, please. We're gonna keep monetized. Of course, Kim's reaction was gold because she doesn't. I don't think she's up to date. But the entire thing.
I mean, I was gathering by the way they were sitting together that something was going on, but and they seem
I think Kim put it together. Yeah.
And look, Morgan, right on cue.
But I'm not gonna make any comments. I'm happy for you two. I'm happy for you too.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys do?
Partied, played a couple. We played Spanish bingo, Mexican bingo, loteria. It's called
loteria. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just had a fun time with family and friends and stuff like that out here, and it was cool.
Yeah, I got to meet his family, so it was awesome. It was so awesome. We had a great time.
Danced a
little bit. Yeah.
Had some nice expensive whiskey.
Not me.
Nice cigar.
You look sharp, bro. You look sharp.
Oh, with my leather.
Donnie Brasco, right?
Yeah. So, Brandon and Bernadette, will you be going live on Nerd Report Daily tonight? Or if not, you don't have to. Just put it on the spot.
We can. No problem.
Right, well, keep in mind, do me a favor, folks. Mods, share that link because show off that suit you wore. So if you want to see Brandon's suit with the smoking, it'll be on Nerd Report Daily. It's simply an extension of Nerd Report because we're allowed to only post 3 videos a day here on or per channel. And also sometimes people don't get notifications and it scares the shit out of me. So I have a backup channel. So that's Nerd Report Daily and stuff. And also don't forget to subscribe to It's Kim and stuff. Kim, what's going on with your channel before we go?
My live show is starting up again tomorrow. Unless something happens, but I'm pretty sure it's coming up tomorrow. So getting back on my show. I usually do it twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. And we just talk about pop culture topics. I usually go over a story or two. Then we kind of have just a chill time. And then we read something from the internet or look at something around the internet that is funny, crazy, wild, everything else. So even if you're not super into the main topic we're talking about, it's only a portion of the stream. It's just a fun show. We all hang out together, me and my space angels, and we have a great time.
Yeah, and then do me a favor, folks. Mods, share her link in the comments. Her channel also suffers from, hey, I have X amount of subscribers, and then YouTube comes in and goes, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a bullshit thing to me. I hate stuff like that. And especially since we're working, that's not the way it works, YouTube. I know you're watching. If you give us love, we reinvest in more videos, more content, because we feel like we're improving. That's the way I work. But when you don't show anybody our stuff, I get discouraged and I stop posting, meaning less traffic to your channel. So there, it's Kim, 25,700. I'm sure she could get to 26,000 in an instant, and I'm sure she's gonna return the love to Nerd Report. She always does without me even asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and shout out to your producer sister.
Yeah.
Thank you. Producer sister's awesome.
And then one more thing before I go, folks. I want to thank everybody who's helped our GoFundMe to replace the vehicle. It includes a lot of people, especially the people I want to shout out is to those who could not contribute but have shared. So you can actually share this right here. It gives you a link and stuff, and $1, anything helps. I have to open my store because I have 2 or 3 jobs, folks, to keep everything afloat. I'm in Los Angeles. They rip you off. Gas is $6, $7 and stuff. And you guys are really, really come to help me, but I'm still way off my goal. This will give me a down payment for something to replace the beast. Okay. That being said, what else do I have? Anything else from anybody? Anything else anyone want to add?
Wishing everybody a happy new year.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Love and health and good stuff for everybody. And I hope that this year is great. And all the love to you. Thank you, Lewis, for having me on. And hi, Brandon and Bernadette. You guys are so cute. And much love to everybody.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, the party continues, folks. We have standalone videos and stuff. Oh, real quick, last thing we're gonna say right here, since you just popped up, Gene Rick. 2 years, Lewis will not be anywhere else. Nerd Report, my favorite. Remember, that's 2 years, Gene Rick. Holy cow!
Queen Space Angel, the Queen.
Is she on with you too? That's good. The support.
She's why I have the name Space Angel. She inspired
Oh,
it.
wow.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I got to meet Jean Rick
Jean
too.
Rick.
so
Yeah,
that's
become a
nice.
member to her channel so you can find out why she named people space angels.
That's going to be the thing, man.
Video.
Everybody's going to be watching that. All right, guys, don't forget, compliments will get you everywhere. And read what this is about to say out loud.